Do you want to start again?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about growing food on a really small scale in small containers and right outside the back door. And then if we look at a larger scale of things onto a garden scale or an allotment scale, to see how much more we can grow and achieve for our families, by looking at the size of this area here. This is around about 40 feet long by about 20 feet wide-ish, ish being the important word. And on here we're growing quite a number of things. Again, we only started sort of mid-April-ish when we arrived. And we've got areas for composting, which are over in the corner there. We made compost bins using pallets that nobody wanted anymore, just 3 pallets per bin, and we've got all our garden waste and mowings and the bedding from the chicken houses when they're cleaned out and stuff on there, and that's going to be used to feed the soil on the garden when it's all rotted down.
Now, you've actually given us a policy to use at Willowbridge for kitchen things.
That's right.
And this is something that people can do at home. How can we start off very simply in our own homes doing this, Dawn?
Okay, to start off is to stop throwing food waste into the bin. So all our kitchen peelings, our tea bags, our toilet roll tubes, kitchen towels that we've just wiped spills up off the worktop and things like that, bits of newspaper. If you've got rabbits and guinea pigs, the rabbit bedding, when you clean the hutches out. There are obviously lots of things that we can't compost that we could probably do another spot on. We do a special on composting for the website at some point in the near future.
Really helpful.
And then that can go out. But there's quite a lot of things that we can compost.
You can't put cooked meats in there, though, can
No
you?
meat.
That was strict in your policy to us, wasn't
no
it?
meat at all, whether it's cooked or raw, and no cooked food either. Because it encourages rats. Okay, and that's what we don't want. I mean, obviously we live in a rural area here, and we will have a lot of rats anyway because it's a nice environment for them. And in an urban environment, believe it or not, you're not more than 10 feet from a rat, which is comforting. But there are ways of discouraging them from coming, and one is not to put cooked food and meat on your compost heap.
Now, do you have to layer that, Dawn?
Loosely, yes. Yeah, there's not too much of any one type of thing put on there at any one time. So there's not too much grass put on, and there's not too much weeds put on or kitchen waste put on, and then we layer it with the animal bedding, so that you get like a lasagna thing going on, so it all rots down and there's air in there and microbiological activity to rot it all down quite well. And it's in the shade of the beautiful willow tree to keep it from getting, too wet and too hot or too dry, etc. It's the right conditions there for it.
Plenty of those in beautiful Willowbridge.
Oh, yes.
Bridging in all sorts of ways.
Yes. So, and also what we're doing in the foreground here with the black plastic is this was an area that was absolutely weed-ridden. There's nettles in there and there's rubble. I think it was kind of a dumping ground beforehand, and there's all sorts of stuff that we've had to clear away. But now we've covered it with the black plastic to kill off any of the growth. And this is a really gentle way of looking after the soil without digging it all over. And we won't actually plant anything in here until the autumn-winter time, when we'll have to clean it a bit more and we take the plastic off to see what exactly is under there. There was a big manure pile, so it's going to be quite fertile as well. So we're thinking that we're going to really consider what we're going to grow in this particular space at some point in the future. And yes,
now at this point, I know, because on our film we will see all these bags of houseplant compost.
Yes,
but there's a story, a wonderful sustainable story behind that, Dawn.
Yeah, part of what we do is we try to recycle things that other people can't make use of in their lives.
A bit like Stick of the Dump.
Yeah, a bit like Stick of the Dump in a nice posh kind of clean way. I went over to, because we're on the Somerset levels here, and they have peat works not very far away near West Hay. And I said one day, you know what, I'm going to go and see if I can find out if they've got any compost they don't want anymore and they can't sell. So I went and spoke to a lovely man called Barry Birch over there, and he said, do you know what? He says, I've got some compost that I'm going to bring over to you.
Thank you, Barry Birch.
And lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, he came with 6 whole pallets full of compost.
Amazing.
Amazing.
How kind can people be?
It's brilliant. And on Saturday, we've got another whole trailer load of compost being delivered to us free, because it's been, you know, there from people that have ordered compost and then cancelled the order. It's a bit old. It's a couple of years old. But for our conditions, it's perfect because we can reuse that, you know, waste product as it would have been.
So even though we can see the bags there, this is all recycled, sustainable stuff.
Yeah. And at the moment, these baby bio bags, because they're really easy to use, because they're not heavy, so anybody can lift up these little bags. They're weighting down these bits of plastic, stop them blowing away. And then they're going to be reused in situ when we come to clean this area in a few months' time. We'll just tip them out onto the cleaned soil, and they will, you know, add nutrients to that area there. So what a fantastic.
So you put the plastic there so it doesn't have to be dug over.
That's
and it's
correct.
kind on the back.
Yeah, much kinder on the back. And more important than that, it's kind to the soil, because soil health is very, very important. You know, everybody thinks, oh, I've got to feed my plants. You don't actually, you're not feeding your plants. You need to bring your soil health up, and then your plants will be healthy through the soil that they're growing in.
Like our diet and nutrition policy.
Exactly. Inside out. Inside out. This is it. So if we take a little walk, what I'd like to show you next